Farmers are facing unprecedented problems, and that is independent of the fact that the government has cut them off from their biggest international customers. So I am staying with some of this now because I don't. What are we going to do, guys? What are we going to do? This is now beginning. It's happening. I've got to tell you, it's happening a little quicker and a little more loudly than I expected. I don't know why. Maybe the pandemic has been some form of catalyst. I knew that at some point, and I was fairly confident I'd still be on air, but I knew that at some point, just by dint of my age and my retirement and things, that's what I mean by still being on air, I knew that the dam would begin to break. I didn't realise George Eustace would be one of the fractures in the dam, an ex-UKIP character, admitting that he was part of a massive con job inflicted upon the British public when it came to the so-called Australian trade deal. You've got people like Simon now who've given up on restoring contact with their biggest customers in Europe on the pre-Brexit platform. They're going to have to either completely revolutionise and invest a huge amount of money in having an actual premises in continental Europe, or they're going to have to go into partnership with a company that has got premises in continental Europe, in the single market, in the customs union. So I knew it was going to happen. I haven't even played you the fellow who used to be on the Monetary Policy Committee talking to Bloomberg about the truth. We haven't even looked at the fact that we're the only country to come out of the pandemic without getting close to pre-pandemic economic performance. And of course, crucially, although this is not, nothing is 100% a consequence of Brexit, but we've now been overtaken by Paris when it comes to the stock market. So, I mean, the sense of mounting evidence is becoming irresistible. But what are we going to do? The Tory party can't go near it. Rishi Sunak's still lying about it. Jeremy Hunt, who was a Remainer, still talking about the benefits and refuses to accept the premise that it's affected us badly. Jacob Rees-Mogg, who thankfully is back to just chatting rubbish from the back benches, but very much emblematic of what happens when you put complete clowns in positions of power. Rees-Mogg will carry, I think, a lot of responsibility for Brexit because he's precisely the sort of politician which Britain has a long tradition of indulging from the back benches and inviting onto television programmes, but you're never supposed to let them near the steering wheel. You know, they can lean out the back of the bus flicking V's at lorry drivers or giving thumbs up to people in cars. You never let people like Rees-Mogg near the steering wheel. It'd be like putting Desmond Swayne or Michael Fabricant in the cabinet. You never let these people near the actual steering wheel. They let Jacob Rees-Mogg practically live in the glove box. It's unbelievable. But he's back on the back, still gibbering, utter bilge. Now talking about Brexit somehow helping us help Ukraine on one of those weird new TV channels, which thankfully is probably going to be his spiritual home moving forward. But the damage is just so huge. So what are we going to do? Keir Starmer's not ready to start talking about a reversal. He's still blathering on about how he'll make a go of it and make it work better. I don't. What's going to happen? What are we going to do? Let's start with you and me. Let's start with one of the great bastions of righteousness on this issue. I'm sure there's stuff we haven't been 100% correct about over the years, but on this, absolutely stone cold. All of the stuff we told you was going to happen is now happening, but no one's ready to press the brake, never mind the reverse gear yet. So how are we going to do it? I'll tell you what, have a crack. Let's have a little conference, shall we? Let's have a production conference. Let's have a chat, because you're as much a part of this programme as I am. Let's have a little chat about how we handle the mounting evidence. Because I don't want to get the tin out. I can't do I told you so every week. How do we handle the mounting evidence that Project Fear was right, that Brexit is an unmitigated disaster, up to and including George Eustace, ex-UKIP, ex-Secretary of State for Farming, standing up in the House of Commons yesterday and admitting that the Australian trade deal, that in many ways got Liz Truss Downing Street, was an absolute load of old nonsense. How are we going to do it? What do you think? Hit the numbers now. You will get through. This is a production meeting. This isn't a normal topic. This is a conversation about how we, on this programme, during the time we spend together, are going to cover the mounting evidence of Brexit's idiocy without being too smug about it. We're obviously allowed a little bit of smugness, without letting it become an uninterrupted exercise in I told you so's, but also continuing to commit to the principle that brought us to here, which is finding out the truth and sharing it. So as a valued member of the production team, how do you think we should do it? 0345 6060 973, particularly when it comes to the pressure we should or shouldn't be putting on politicians. It's 12:19.